Those keys to the game load? Did the keys to the game load? It's not a big deal. Tonight with county bragging rights up for grabs to the winner of this girls soccer showdown, the pair's Clear Fork in search of their third straight victory as we enter mid-season against Richland County foe Lexington, trying to earn their third win of the 2021 campaign. It's the Lady Colts squaring off against Lady Lex, streaming live and free to your smartphone, tablet, PC, or TV. And it's on the way. Next.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Yeah. Super fun night of rivalry soccer on the docket for this evening, with Lexington making the short trip down to the Clear Fork Valley for a date with the Lady Colts. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Colt Corral here in fabulous Belleville, Ohio. My name is Brian Skoronsky. I'll be joined in a few short minutes by Ontario coach Greg Atkinson, who's making his way over from practice and trying to get a look at both of these teams, of course, who they've already faced off with Lex. Get a shot at Clear Fork on Monday, but always just such a great time when these two teams get together, just given the proximity. A lot of these players, they grow up with one another, so there's tons of familiarity and, of course, lots of talent out on the field. Lexington and Clear Fork, two of the better feeder systems that we have in all of Richland County, and you could say the surrounding area as well, north central Ohio. And now that I'm becoming an old person and I got kids coming up through the soccer ranks too, you know, it's been really neat to see how it happens with these girls getting involved at such a young age, and they do come up with one another, playing against each other through their entire lives, and they get to share in cool moments like this. As we're going to take a quick minute, honor America with the playing of the Star Spangled Banner, and then also a short moment of silence for those lost overseas in Afghanistan.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a great country with freedoms like no other. To honor America and respect for all who have served this great country, to defend these freedoms, you are invited to sing our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
It's really a class act by the players here tonight, and showing their American spirit, coming out with the American flags and honoring those who were fallen overseas, just such tragic acts that we've been seeing over these last couple of weeks, and just shout out to Clear Fork and the Lexington communities and these players coming together and trying to make a difference, at least here at home, showing their Patriot spirit. As far as these two squads, when it comes to the game, it's been a challenging start to the season for Lady Lex. You know, losses in their first 3 matches of the year, so they came out of the gates a little bit slow, but tough competition. Losing to the likes of Ontario, which what a match that was. Unfortunately for Lady Lex, an own goal for them prevented them from at least earning a tie with Ontario in that match. That happening in the closing seconds. Also dropped matches to Ashland and Brunswick, and now coming off of a loss to Olentangy Orange. So, you know, they're certainly tested, just not getting the results that I know the Buck Morton and his team want, in particular with this huge senior class that Lady Lex has at their disposal this year. I remember very specifically 3 years ago when a lot of these kids that are now seniors getting some time, getting out on the field, and it's their moment to shine as seniors. And so just 2 wins so far for them in the early portion of the season. Tough, rocky road for Lady Lex, but I imagine they're going to get things turned around as we get closer and closer to mid-season play. Totally different story for the Lady Colts, coming off a back-to-back blowout, shutout wins of River Valley and Gallium. Both of those results 10-0 affairs, so the competition hasn't been of the same quality. However, lots of players getting involved for Clear Fork offensively, so totally contrasting results when you look at what Clear Fork is heading into tonight's game with a little bit more positive energy and spirit. I kind of noticed that too in the pregame. They're a bubbly bunch, man. They like to have a lot of fun out there. Coach Bechtel has really just bred that with her team for years and years and years out here in the Valley. So I'm expecting nothing but a bunch of smiles and, you know, lots of rotations for a really deep Clear Fork squad tonight. But at the same time, do big wins over inferior opponents have more positive effect on you than, say, a loss to a good team like getting tested by Olentangy Orange or the loss to Ontario for Lexington? So that is going to be seen here tonight when these two teams go head-to-head and battle each other. Let's go ahead and break down the keys to the game, at least according to Moa, and how I break things down for you guys here tonight. And I think certainly whoever scores first in tonight's contest gets off to a fast start. That's going to be so key. So key. Whoever can get on the board first. Lexington has struggled getting on the scoreboard pretty much throughout the entire season up to this point. They're averaging just a shade over 2 goals per game. It's been a bit of a different story over on the other side, but inflated, of course, with the 20 goals in the last 2 games for Clear Fork. They're at almost 5.5 goals per clip. Aside from that, got to limit the fast break opportunities for Windsor if you're Lexington. You cannot let that speedster get out in space, because when 22 has a shot at being one-on-one with the keeper, typically she can get by that last defender. She can make it happen, and we've seen so far she's the leading scorer up to this point with 6 goals for Clear Fork. She has been a handful. And then for Clear Fork, try to take the ball away from Lauren Alexander. If you can, force somebody else in the attacking third to come up and make them beat you. Don't let Lauren, that superstar, have the run of play, take over the field. And here are the starting lineups for tonight. I talked a bit about Lauren Alexander. She is now a 4-year starter. How about Ian Underwood, a 3-year starter in goal for them? Morton, Schaefer, Moglen, and Boyce, they're on the back line. Really like the midfield. Parker, Hamler, and Geifer here for Lexington. And then up top, Blasberg, Thomas, and then Lauren Alexander. And then on the other side for Clear Fork, Kendall Windsor did not start the first half of the first game of the season, and then she come out and had a hat trick for him off of the bench. So she's going to be starting alone up top. Wine, Belcher, Cook are in the midfield along with Wortman, and then defensively Swank, Davidson, Perry, Labaki, and then Bluebaugh. Kind of goes back and forth between defense and offense as we are underway here tonight from the Colt Corral. And it's going to be Lexington pushing it back to the keeper here. Start things off. Now Schaefer didn't measure that one very well. Tried to just get it to Boyce, but pushed it too far. So a quick opportunity here for the Lady Colts to get on the offensive attack, as that header from Wortman didn't find feet. It was kind of up for grabs. And now Lex just looking to clear, though that's not going to help. I mentioned they got to limit Windsor, she's already got her first shot. That one ricocheted too, so 2 shots in the early going. Melody blue ball with a second, and it's going to end up with a corner kick for the Lady Colts. What a hot start for them. Great save, though, by Underwood. Giving up the body, really stretching out there, showing the Superman abilities. Not allowing the Colts to get on the board in the first minute. Off the set piece, Cook never got it in play, didn't give her squad an opportunity. So it'll lead to goal kick here for Lady Lex. Wearing their crispy whites here tonight on the road. Clear Fork in their home blacks, so totally contrasting in the jerseys tonight. Black versus white out there. We'll see who strikes first right now in the first couple of minutes. The ball has pretty much been controlled down here in the attacking third for Clear Fork. We've seen Windsor's got a huge throw. She chucks that one in there. And there's Cook with the header somehow. Punched over the top by Underwood. Man, was that close. So 2 near goals so far for LCP, but neither have been able to find their mark. Been a lot better this season versus last at capitalizing when they've been able to produce opportunities. And here they are off the set piece, back post. And that one just went over the head of Annika Labaki. But already 2 corner kicks for Clear Fork. And Lady Colts are going to maintain possession here. Good challenge there, but the Colts able to hang on to it. And again, they're going to bring over their strong-armed sophomore Kendall Windsor. She can really chuck it in there. She's got back post a few times that I've seen on some of these throws. And here it is, out the top of the 18. Looked like Labaki with the header back to Bluebaugh. Running into a ton of traffic there. 3 Lady Lex players had to come over to try to slow her down. And now this one chipped, then redirected by Lex, who's really struggling to clear right now, but this will help. Getting it through the midfield now, up top to Alexander. Lauren Alexander always seems to draw a crowd. See the black jersey just starting to converge one by one, force her to give it up, and that's the strategy I think that they need to implement throughout the night. Do not allow Lauren to get out and handle things offensively, because she's a great playmaker. She's been doing it for 4 years out here for Lexington, and just really poised, I think, to have a big, strong middle to second half of the season as Windsor runs that one off, scooped up by Underwood. Good pressure applied there by Boyce. Gets the ball back for Lexington, but just nothing is crisp for them right now. They're not really connecting more than one pass at a time. So they catch a bit of a break right here. They're going to have the throw-in. But can they maintain possession and get something going towards Clear Fork's end of the field? Renee Anders has basically been out 25 yards from the net the entire first 5 minutes up to this point. Nice flick there by Alexander. Give and go back to her. Tried to thread that through, but went off of the back foot of Thomas. Cross disrupted by Swank. It's going to set up first corner kick opportunity of the night for Lex. Emma Schaefer handling the duties. One of the many seniors on this Lexington squad. Put it in a great place. Might get another shot right here, but no, the double team comes and it pays off. Stripped away by Labaki, but she turns it over. And Lex doesn't get anything going towards the goal there. Just Alexander wasn't facing properly in the right direction there. Had her back towards where the ball ended up going. Labaki tried to set it up for Cook. Too firm there with that one. And really a short, wobbly punt that time from Underwood. Handled by Clear Fork. And as always, folks, we want to know, where are you watching from here tonight? Drop us a line on the Facebook. Tell us, where are you taking in tonight's action, this Richland County rivalry? Who you cheering for? And you just might end up on our fan zone on the bottom line. And had a great conversation with a gentleman who runs the PA here at Clear Fork, as that one is threaded down the middle for Windsor. And you see her charging, but Underwood got there first. But back to my story, he was just suggesting that he's got family members that are kind of spread out all over the country, and a sister in particular that travels a lot for work, and just she's overjoyed the fact that she's able to watch live and free here on the OH Report, and just so cool, such a blessing to be able to provide fans with live coverage of sporting events all over the country. I'm, always shocked about how many people are watching in states outside of the Buckeye State, so appreciate each and every one of you for viewing, and we just love to know, how are you taking in the contest? Where are you watching from? Maybe let me know that, what's some of your favorite snacks when you're watching OH Report? Oh, how about the Meg job right there? Windsor! Oh, just a bit outside with the shot attempt, but the setup, it doesn't get much prettier than that. Went right through the 5-hole. As Cook, great looking pass, but look at this touch. Are you kidding me? Beautiful. Right through the legs of Meglin. But unfortunately, it's been 4 opportunities, 4 shots for Clear Fork, and they got nada to show for it. Still locked up 0-0. And that can be a problem. Just because you're creating, all these attempts, as here's another one with Cook, and she'll find the back. So, you know what? She's just stole the words that I was about to say. She's going to flip it and say, you know what, Brian? We got 5 opportunities. We're going to cash in one eventually. She got it here. Trinity Cook, big-time header. Let's check out the setup first. From the wing, out wide, Kylie Belcher. Put perfect amount of touch on it. Trinity, man, great placement right there. Cook's having a fantastic senior season so far. Really been impressive. It's her 4th goal of the season. And the Colts strike first at the 31-30 mark. And that was my number 1 key tonight. Whoever could score first, get that positive juju going in the right direction, probably would be successful. We'll see if it turns into bunches for them. Typically, once Clear Fork, once they get that first bite, they want to go in for bites 2, 3, and 4. They want to add them up. They get that nice taste, and it's hard. It's like those commercials back in the day with the chips. Well, I bet you can't just have one. So we'll see if that ends up being the case here for the Lady Colts, if they can string a couple of goals together here in the early portion of the match. And if you're Lex, can you withstand the early goal? Can you let the storm blow by? So far, we're 9.5 minutes in, and by my count, it's been 90% control by Clear Fork. And yet another corner kick on the way here. It's going to be set piece number 3 for LCP. Actually, they've changed the call. Goal kick. Probably the right call, too. Underwood with a quick touch. And just everything, it just seems so hard right now for Lexington. Just can't seem to get it out of their end. Connecting passes, so difficult. And then with Clear Fork, you know, this has been rare. I'm trying to think of at any point in my career covering high school soccer, which spans over a decade here in North Central Ohio. I'm starting to get up there in years, seen a lot of games. I don't know that I remember a team that will do 6 or 7 substitutes at a time like Coach Bechtel is doing this year with the Lady Colts. They just put 6 fresh bodies out there, and the strategy is that eventually they feel like they're going to wear on you. They're going to be the fresher team when it gets to be to the second half. They might have to give up a little bit of continuity, have some of their better players sitting on the bench early in the game, but they feel like in the long run it's definitely going to pay off. Here's Alexander. She's trying to put it out in space there, back post, hoping that one of her friends will catch up with it. Parker eventually was able to. And it's going to lead to the second corner attempt here for Lady Lex. No shot attempts so far for the girls wearing the white jerseys. Can they change that here? Got Alexander marking the defender up top. They go right at her. That was actually well placed. Kind of a dart. Now back to Lauren. Little karate kick at it. Went with the side swipe. Check this out. Right idea. A little too firm with the attempt, so first shot of the match for Lex right there. Took them a dozen minutes. So mad respect to Clear Fork for that being the case, as they have pretty much dominated the ball control through the midfield, trying to get it up top to Windsor. But right now, Lady Lex looking to change that narrative, flip the script. Here they go with a little bit of positive momentum. Off the Clear Fork throw, and it goes right into the body of Giefer. So Lex with a chance. Start pushing towards the attacking third. Morton, though, off the pressure. Ill-advised pass into traffic, gave it away. But the Colts return the favor. Back-to-back turnovers here. Beautiful night here in the Valley, too. A little bit of a breeze coming through. But, man, the temperature just right. I believe we're in the 60s this evening. And, you know, an early game, too. Told due to a referee shortage that they wanted to get the varsity game in first here tonight. And that is why they are playing the 5 o'clock game as opposed to the 7 p.m. game. But it opens things up for the JV, and a lot of these girls were telling our very own Hayden Gray they are stoked to play under the lights. They don't get that opportunity very often at the junior varsity level. And we now have Greg Atkinson joining me on the headset. Greg, welcome to the Valley, my friend. How's it going?
Glad to be here. Jump from one soccer event to another. Had to make sure we get in our last-minute preparations for our big game Saturday. So,
yeah, we'll talk about that here in a moment. And I know that you get an opportunity to go toe-to-toe with this Clear Fork team on Monday, if I'm correct. Or do you guys not even look forward that far, Greg?
Yeah, well, right now it's all right. We got to take one game at a time. But yeah, that MOAC kind of showdown lingering there Monday. So I'm sure Brittany was probably telling the group the same for their game tonight. So
got to focus on the task at hand. And so far, since you're just joining us, Greg, it's been Clear Fork dominating the control, the possession so far. They've got 6 shots, all of them on net, on frame so far. Okay. The lone goal coming from Trinity Cook off a nice header at the 31-30 mark. Lexington really has struggled just to get the ball out of their own end. This is a team that you guys got to play early in the season. So you'll have to give me your thoughts on what they bring to the table. Of course, a lot of veterans, tons of seniors out there. And now it seems like they're starting to ease into the game. They're connecting a few more passes, but they really started slow. Just your thoughts on what you saw from Lexington, taking them on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I think Lexington's got a lot of talent. There's no questioning that. They've lost a lot as well, similar to Clear Fork and some of those key players the last year. But yeah, I think Lexington right now, they're probably battling through. Everyone kind of looks at our schedule in Ontario, Clear Fork's, Madison's. But I think at some years Lexington's might be up at the top, and they've had a couple tough games I've noticed over the last week or so. So. Kind of prepares them, hopefully, I think, as Coach Morton's thought as you head into a game like this. So hopefully it kind of does what he wants it to do here.
That was a lot of my conversation with myself in the pregame is, coming off of back-to-back wins in the MOAC for Clear Fork, 10-0 wins. Does that really prepare you as much as, say, a 3-2 loss to a superior, more talented team like Lexington just went up against? It's tough, I think, to gauge, Greg, because there's a lot of positives that can come when you just really put the beat down on somebody. A lot of girls getting the action, their smiles, more playing time, but at the same time, do you really get to elevate your game if you're not playing a better team? Tough to really weigh.
Yeah, it's finding that balance. I mean, I know, in a lot of our MOAC games, I mean, depending on where you're at score-wise in part of the game, I know Clear Fork's similar to us, try to back it off at about 10 goals to where, depending on where you're at in the game, usually you're playing possession. You might be subbing in a lot of your JV players to where you're not necessarily getting them the touches on the ball. So Lexington's, yeah, I'd much rather take that 3-2 game, but as long as you're not getting to where the girls are kind of defeated and potentially getting a little down on themselves and what their capabilities are, as long as they're learning from it and getting better each game, that's what you want to kind of achieve. So I guess we'll see whether that's doing there so far. 1-0, not ideal.
The hot start, yeah. It's certainly been Clear Fork with the run of play so far. I'd say that they probably dominated the time of possession about 80-20, but all it takes for a girl like Lauren Alexander and company to get cooking is just one possession, one quick dart towards the net, and we can get an equalizer here real quick, as it looks like numbers starting to matriculate forward for Lexington, but the back line of Clear Fork, they've been dynamite so far all year.
I think, as you alluded to, I mean, Lauren Alexander, she's gotten us a couple times in terms of if you lose track of her at any point, next thing you know, the ball could be in the back of the net. So gonna have to keep track of her there. And I think I'm not sure if you talked it, but Clear Fork name of their game, subs frequent and often. Not sure if Lexington's matched that thus far, but that could come into play here at some point here. I see a lot of hands on the hips already for Lexington.
That is the game plan and the strategy for Coach Bechtel this season. And the last change that they just made, 7 fresh players coming in, Greg. I was saying a few minutes ago before you jumped on the headset, I don't remember ever seeing a team that would make that large of a substitution so routinely. How uncommon is it to see a team do this?
Yeah, it's not frequent. You'll get some coaches, they'd rather go and, all right, how many players can play the full 80 minutes, and you kind of build that kind of routine and camaraderie and different things like that, where you could say, hey, changing it frequently as you are, that kind of then makes it to where it's tough to gel. But it's worked. So it's kind of to each their own. You don't see it very often, and not dropping off. I mean, I think that's the key with them, is you don't necessarily see a lot of drop off like you would see if other teams potentially sub. So
definitely a really deep Clear Fork squad. Trying to keep the field spread right now. A couple of turnovers. And Lex just has not been crisp offensively here tonight. Struggling to make those first couple of passes to get the engine roaring. So they'll make a quick substitution here. Lizzie Hamler checking out in favor of Olivia Workman.
I think, sometimes when you play on turf frequently like Clear Fork does, that's kind of to their advantage. But, I mean, Lexington's got one of the best grass fields we have in the area, to where it's a very similar to a turf appearance, depending on how well they're mowing that down. So I wouldn't say that comes into play. Good opportunity there.
Yeah, it was. They were looking for Alexander up top, just pushing it forward and hoping the speedster could catch up. That time, Clear Fork able to get to it first, but a throw-in coming up here for Lady Lex. Arnholt into traffic. Colts trying to clear. Good looking give and go.
See if Giefer can get across here. I'm sure she's going to want that one back. I think we've seen thus far if Lexington can get numbers forward, you know, if as long as they're not making sure to that they're getting sucked back to where a little tired, a little fatigue coming into play, if they can continue to push the envelope here, they're getting the opportunities.
I think it's all got to start with their midfield, just getting possession for them and allowing their forwards up top, like Blasberg and company, just to get a run going towards the net. But so far, Clear Fork's midfield really dominating the control. Has Cook just a little bit off with that. Trying to release out into space, and that's just going to roll into the hands of the keeper.
I think, you know, we talk Alexander and the speed and how quickly things can change and an opportunity can create. I mean, Clear Fork's no different. They have a younger version of that in Windsor. I think only a sophomore.
She is.
So I think we've seen multiple times this year thus far. You slot a through ball to her, it's off to the races, and there's not many defenders that are going to be able to keep up with the speed that she has as well.
And we were over here on opening night for their match against Worcester, and she had a breakout performance, hat trick coming off of the bench. So I do wonder if Brittany Bechtel maybe didn't know the full potential, what she had at her disposal, and it was just like, whoa, 22 is the real deal. We got to get her into the starting lineup. Or if they wanted to kind of keep her under wraps. I think that she's kind of got her stuff together. You know, 16 years on the job. She probably knows what she's doing, but I do wonder if the speed of Windsor kind of took her off guard when she got in the game. And here's a great opportunity. Cannot finish.
Underwood with the save.
Big save, too, from Underwood, and she's had a couple of nice ones so far already.
Thought that we were going to get to call that when we reached into our crystal ball and predicted that a little bit right before it. I don't think that they. I don't think they hid Windsor. I know she got the goal for us in summer league. Not that again summer league means much, but we noticed her relatively quickly, or at least over at Ontario, and what she was capable of back in the summer. So she wasn't a hidden secret to us.
Certainly having a phenomenal sophomore campaign. 6 goals, 4 assists already for just through 5 matches.
I think I saw their game on Monday, and that is probably a good thing in MOAC games. I think I saw 9 of their 10 goals were from 9 different players, so you get to spread the wealth a little bit, get others involved that necessarily aren't.
That would definitely be the argument for, is it worth playing an inferior opponent? Well, sometimes yeah, because some kids that typically aren't going to get into the scoring column get some varsity goals, maybe elevates their confidence to the next level, and when they are out there against a good team, they're like, hey, I've done this before.
Yep. Get some a little rest as well if you got some players that are dinged up.
Certainly for Clear Fork, their players never seem to be tired as they're subbing in and out so often.
I heard you talking it as I came in. I mean, what a beautiful night for soccer.
No question.
I heard you say we got to where varsity game here, and then I think the boys game between Clear Fork and Lexington as well, still on for 7 this evening, so you'll kind of get back-to-back games between the two schools.
That's right. The Lexington boys game being played over at Lexington, though.
Right.
So 2 different venues. The JV kids going to play here on the turf for the girls tonight. And here's Windsor again, using that speed to her advantage, tried to cut it inside, but got her pocket picked. Well defended right there by Lexi Blasberg. Or actually, that was Emma Moglen, excuse me.
15-16, they both look the same, right?
Sometimes tough when you're this far away to get them right every time, that's for sure. Alexander looking to make it a 1-girl breakaway. She's going to put the shot from distance. And I don't hate it. I mean, there's 4 Colts defenders back there. You got to uncork that puppy at some point.
I think going to her left, she's primarily right foot dominant there. A little tougher to be able to.
Baki with a hip check. Didn't earn a whistle.
There.
Workman went tumbling.
Lines, a little confusion here with the football lines and the gray of the soccer lines. Inbounds, it looks like, as she threw that in.
So round 2. And won by Wortman. Now Labaki tried to thread the needle through to Cook. Just a lot of pinball action going on right now. Nobody really holding possession.
It's kind of back and forth, eliminating the entire center of the field here. They got to find ways to connect passes, get a little build up. But we see both sides. I mean, they're holding such a high line. Clear Fork's at the 30. We've got Lexington's up into the 35. We're playing now in between a 20-25 yard space. See if either team can kind of take advantage of that.
You're right, everyone just kind of all crammed into the middle of the field right now.
Which is kind of surprising. Usually if you're playing a team with a little bit of speed, you're going to respect that a little bit, kind of hold back potentially and not leave them some space to run onto, unless you're pulling an offsides trap, which neither team really is doing that.
Lady Lex looking to move it forward now. But Lauren turned, ran into a defender, and had it taken away there by Schaefer. Well defended.
Now we talk of Clear Fork's offensive capability, but I mean, in the back, between Davidson, got Swank, some tenured defenders in the back that are kind of leading the charge as well to ensure they're able to contain the likes of Blasberg and Alexander.
Colts do have a nice mix, having the seniors back on the back line, kind of protecting the net, and then the younger players up top trying to go out there and score some goals. So a good mixture of sophomores and seniors here for the Lady Colts. And a good opportunity here for Lex. Off the set piece, this one just rifled.
Wow.
A lot of venom behind that one from Giefer, but into the hands of Anders. Nice save. That was about the first real shot on target so far this evening for Lexington. Anders has not been tested a whole lot so far through 38 minutes and change.
I think that's between both teams. They've got some talent in between the pipes and the goal as well.
Underwood been starting for a long time for Lex.
There we go. Starting to see a little bit of possession here, connecting a couple passes. Playing the way they're facing. Just as I say that, they kind of force the envelope.
Just have not had much luck going through the wings so far, has Lexington. Everything for them pretty much has come through the middle. Big through ball and allow some of their forwards to run out in space and collect possession.
It's a good battle.
Swank and Alexander. Swank wins this battle this time.
I think that's where you can see the frustration with Alexander's kind of herself, like you said, up against 4. We need to get some numbers behind the ball if you're Lexington.
And for Clipper, number 3, Melody Blueball. Number 4,
And again, kind of the hockey lineup substitution here for the Lady Colts. 6 fresh bodies back out onto the field. And I imagine they'll make even one more substitution before these final 10 minutes are done here in half number 1.
Workman for Lexington's getting beat up a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like a workman on workman, a little harm right there, but referee said it looked like more of a tumble, bit of a flop there. Big throw into the middle. Somehow got through everybody. Now Labaki lofts one up over the top of the keeper. It's 2-0 Lady Colts.
That was almost like slow motion here. Ball finds her feet. Perfectly placed ball over the top there.
Really was just the perfect amount of finesse to lob it right up over the top of Ian Underwood. Beautiful, beautiful goal right there by Labaki.
I don't even necessarily know if you credit anybody with an assist there, given that it bounced around a little bit before finding her feet.
4th goal of the season for Annika. Another member of that stud sophomore class here at Clear Fork.
See if Lexington can find a little second win here to finish the last 8 minutes, or it's always the toughest, you say, those first couple minutes after giving a goal, ensuring you don't give up a second. Same with if you're the individuals that just scored, can I tack another one on?
When you got that wave of momentum going, you just want to keep riding it as long as you can. And like you said, on the other side, you want to make sure that it doesn't crash on top of you and really end your night, because it can happen in the game of soccer. 2-3 goals, if they get bunched together like that, it just feels like a hurricane that wrecks your entire night. And for Lexington, this last 8-minute stretch, that's going to be key for them. Don't want to make this a 3-0 game, certainly, or if you can cut into the deficit, send yourself into half number 2, trailing by just 1. Obviously, that'd be big time for them. Underwood with a driving punt through the midfield, up for grabs.
Good pressure by Lexington here, earn themselves a throw-in.
Laurel Morton looking for an option. And just a bit of a careless pass there by Kiefer. She felt the pressure.
Refs are letting them play today. Well, it's been a couple for each side there.
As long as it's consistently called both ways,
Exactly.
I think that's what's most important to each team.
It's easy for me to say that now when I'm up here rather than down on the sidelines. Feelings may change a little bit.
Obviously, feelings change a bit when it's the kids you've been coaching for years and years and years, and you see them get tumbled over. Yeah, referee says that one just over the out-of-bounds line, preventing Thomas from making that turn. Wine with the throw. Wortman heads it up. And Cook, with just enough physicality there, was able to push Parker off the ball and get Clear Fork possession.
Sophomore herself there for Lexington. Younger sister of All-American Ryan Parker. See if he's been able to teach a little sis a few things along the way.
I'd imagine there's got to be some kind of trickle-down effect. At least the talent, the gene pool, we know is there.
Yes.
Ryan, I know, is playing at the next level somewhere right now.
Ohio Northern.
There we go. Oh, good touch there by Cook. Lead to Wortman. Trying to turn on the Jets. Inching in, left foot, but it's right at Underwood.
You know, that's a tough one for players as you're making a run in. Want to score the goal. Sometimes you want to take that peek up, and you know, I think there she had Windsor planted right in front where that could have potentially been a tap in. Like I said, it's tough to convince girls that going for the glory isn't the better option at times.
And I think certainly, you know, one thing that up here, it's always easy for us from the announcer's booth to say something when a girl's going at top-end speed about she should have done this or that. But, you know, I got to tell you, G, I got out and played a little backyard soccer the other night, and just trying to go at my full speed and then put a kick on a ball, it's a lot more challenging, I think, than it looks. So it gave me even more respect for some of the talent that we have out here on the high school stage and what some of these kids can do. Soccer's a tough game, my friend.
That is usually the comment you'll hear from some players at times when parents want to critique from the stands is, all right, well, let's come on out here and
show me how it's done.
Yes,
then, Pops.
and then it's usually crickets from there.
So I do have a much better understanding now after getting shellacked by some of the neighborhood kids the other day. Appreciate the butt whooping. Thank you, kids. Down to about 3 minutes to go here. Well defended right there. Kylie Davidson, what a stud, setting this up. Windsor again, man. And I've called 3 matches. She gets one-on-one with the keeper more than any player I can ever remember. But unfortunately for her, she's like 1 for 10 in those opportunities, so that's going to come with time, just a sophomore. But, boy, she's going to have to learn to capitalize on those at some point. Again, easy for me to say from up here when she's going at full speed at her rate of speed, which is a little bit faster than your normal human.
I think, you know, as a young player, you know, we're experiencing it as well with Kyla there at Ontario. Once individuals start to realize what your talent and your capability are, you know, you get a little bit different of looks. You know, sometimes individuals solely just following you around the field, not giving you a lot of space. So you got to try to find ways to make yourself better there and make the most of it. Whoa.
Wow. Trinity Cook, I think, just scored off of a corner kick. I've never seen that.
Wow.
Not once.
And I was kind of surprised because I thought the goalkeeper there caught it, but she must have crossed the line as she caught it.
Folks, this is as good of a goal as you're ever going to see. Bending it back in far post.
Yep.
Wow.
So even though the goalkeeper caught it, she had crossed the goal line. We got ourselves a 3-0 ball game here.
Cook now with a pair of goals. That one is going to end up on the highlight reel at the end of the season for LCP. I guarantee you that. What a goal.
She's decided to take things into her own hand. Teammates didn't want to finish on her corners where figured she'd go ahead and do that on her own.
Windsor with a throw-in, pretty much like a corner, as well as she lobs those in. And that one just slung shot out of play here. But the Colts going to try to keep the pressure on, just under 90 seconds. It just feels like, man, what a back-breaking type of goal that was from Cook. And the 10th shot here of the first half for Clear Fork. Great anticipation by Wortman.
I think, now's can Lexington hold on, get to the half, 45 more seconds. I think, right now they're just getting outworked, potentially fatigue again coming into play. I think they've only really subbed Lexington 1, maybe 2 that they've rotated in.
The Lexington bench has been vastly underutilized compared to that of Clear Fork's, no doubt, but I think that's going to be the case for just about all their opponents. As referenced a couple of times, it's just so uncommon, unusual to have 6, 7 subs come in and out at one time.
5, 4, 3, 2.
So half number 1 in the books. Trinity Cook, the star so far, she's got a pair of goals for the Lady Colts. One of them off of a corner kick. We'll take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll have some halftime stats, a little bit of analysis, and get you ready for half number 2. Keep it here. Lady Colts, First Lady Lex. We'll return in just a moment.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it, Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
It's halftime here at the Colt Corral in fabulous Belleville, where the home fans here enjoying a 3-0 cushion in favor of LCP so far. Clear Fork leading Lexington 3-0 at the break. Brian Skronsky, Greg Atkinson with you. We'll dive into the first half numbers here in just a moment, but man, total domination pretty much from start to finish in the first 40 minutes for Clear Fork. They're on the board in the first 9 minutes, Greg, and after that, 2 goals in the final 10 minutes from Labaki. Cook with her second on a really dynamic goal off of a corner kick, but they've just controlled and dictated the tempo. They've pretty much played at their pace, and they just look like the more confident, superior squad so far.
Yeah, I would say they've worn them down in their play, the subbing. It's been kind of a lopsided affair here. So I'm sure that was kind of the game plan heading in, and right now, I think Clear Fork's executing to almost near perfection as they're working through it.
Here are the first half stats, and just 3 shots so far taken by Lady Lex. One of them actually made its way on target. Clear Fork, they've had some great looks, in particular with Windsor getting out and just showcasing the speed one-on-one with the keeper. She just hasn't been able to finish. Otherwise, this baby could easily be 5-0 right now. So, the numbers so one-sided, 69% possession so far for Clear Fork. Like we were just saying, they just feel like they're playing at a different level than that of Lexington at this point in the season.
Yeah, and again, it kind of goes back to, you've got some good games of preparation for Clear Fork in which they've been able to build some confidence where, Lexington on the opposite end of it, I think, they've lost a couple tough games here back-to-back to where you've got a tale of 2 tapes there as you head into here, and I'm sure Coach Morton over there, he's trying to rally the troops and make it towards at least result here. So we'll see what they're able to put together for the last 40 minutes.
Lexington 4 losses so far in their first 6 matches, and scoring has been the problem for them. Just 2.17 goals per contest is what they're putting up at this point in the season, where on the flip side, Clear Fork, after last year, they weren't that much of an offensive juggernaut, held under 3 goals per game, but right now, getting pretty healthy after coming off the River Valley and Galleon beatdowns, 5.5 goals per game, and they're more than halfway there so far here tonight. 3-0, they lead it so far after 40 minutes of play. We'll take one more time out. We'll be back. Half number 2 on the way from the Valley, exclusively on the OH Report.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Thanks for watching live and free girls high school soccer with us right here on the OH Report. We love you, the fans, so make sure that you do drop us a line. Let us know where you're watching from here tonight, who you're cheering for, who your favorite player is, anything that you want to let us know. We want to know about you and your fandom. And then coming up tomorrow, we've got plenty of football on the menu for you folks, including, we're going to say it's kind of co-games of the night, beginning down in Howard, Ohio, Centerburg at East Knox. I'm going to be on the call for that one along with my guy Brian Harder, so it's going to be Bryan Square down there. You can catch that one with pregame beginning at about 6:50. We're going to be here at the Colt Corral again. Huge game for the Colts football team. They're 2-1, taking on Bellevue, also 2-1. And the Redmen coming off of a big win over Shelby last week. So can Clear Fork keep some momentum rolling? They scored 29 unanswered points against Lexington last week in the second half. We'll see if they can snowball that, keep the good times rolling. West Holmes at Mansfield Senior, our co-featured game of the night. 2 3-0 teams opening up OCC play. We're going to be tag teaming with that one with WMAN Radio, so make sure that you check that one out. All these are going to be on our Facebook page, and then you see the corresponding YouTube channel as well. And then the other 3 games, all highlights for you folks. River Valley at Galleon, Shelby at Ontario, and then Mohawk at Upper Sandusky. All of those you can see clips from Friday night on the Friday Night Pigskin. We're going to try to kick things off around 11:30 live, and then the full highlights will be posted a little bit later in the evening. So a full menu of high school football on the way for you folks on the OH Report tomorrow night. Brian Skoronsky with you here from the Valley, along with Ontario coach Greg Atkinson, making the drive over after practice. And you mentioned you got a couple of your girls over here too, Greg, huh? Just getting a little scouting report here on the Lady Colts.
Yeah, I still haven't quite figured out if that was their way to get out of lifting and ending practice a little bit early this evening. But yeah, it looks like most of them made the trip down, as you said, as we prepare to kind of face off with Clear Fork on Monday. So I'll say it was a fair trade-off.
Well, you and Clear Fork every single year so far since you've been in the MOAC, I mean, you're the 2 prize fighters going toe-to-toe trying to win that conference championship. So any little tell or whatever you can get from observing your opponent, of course, it's always good. Always good to get out there and watch them in person and see what that speed looks like, see what the skill set looks like with your own eyes.
Yeah, as I told Travis last week when we were calling a game, you know, if either of us don't know what the other is going to kind of be bringing and showing our cards, then we probably haven't done our due diligence. I don't think there's any surprises. It's kind of similar to us in Madison, us in Lexington. It's just gloves are off, and it's just a battle and exciting to see. And you know, I see a relatively large crowd here, but I know you go back to our opening night against Lexington. I don't know if I've ever seen that many fans at our field there at Ontario. So it just is exciting atmosphere.
We've got back-to-back fouls here after, man, it was such a clean game played in the first half, and I think the officials allowed a little bit more contact than typical to get by, but just 1 total foul called in that first half, 2 so far already in the first minute or so. And we'll see if this game gets a little bit more aggressive and physical as the night wears on. As that's a great cross there by Lauren Alexander. But that first touch a little bit too firm off the connecting pass. Swank able to come over, disrupt that thing.
That would have been exactly what Lexington needed to get things kicked off here in the second half. Just a bad touch there. I'm sure that was the halftime speech there from Coach Morton at halftime is, hey, we got to go up and see a little fight, you know, coming out in the first 5-10 minutes here. So that's probably where you're seeing a couple fouls here thus far. Kind of showing them they're not going to lay down.
Great passing so far right here from Clear Fork, but that last one trying to get it up top to Windsor just wasn't there for him. Defended that time by Meglin. Does a nice job right here just to smack it out of bounds too. So Davidson lofts it to Windsor. Kind of flicks it on with the header, but just nobody home. She'd be the girl up top to try to do that for. And how many times have we seen tonight Windsor try with this long throw-in? Colts haven't capitalized off it yet. And it doesn't look like they will this time either. Though keeping the pressure on. Davison coming up playing a little bit of midfield right now.
There we go. Lexington finally able to get forward a little bit there.
Yeah, 4 straight connecting passes, and now Thomas sends it forward for Alexander. Turns it back inside. Beautiful play, left foot, and just a bit wide on the first shot here of half number 2.
Back up, you're gonna fall. No.
I think she's got to find a way. That's a couple shots now to where she's got some good looks. Probably on the wrong foot. How can she get it to her right? Get a little cleaner of a strike, probably.
Blue Boss sent it. Windsor right off of her chest, and that's going to go out of bounds here on the near side. And Lexington already, though they turn it over here, they just look a little bit more crisp with the ball than they did in that first half. It took them a good 15 minutes of half number 1 before they connected as many passes as they already have in the first 4 minutes here. So I at least like the confidence of Lady Lex, and they might get a shot attempt here. At least a set piece on the way.
Lexington looking to play quick here.
Just big physical play there as Hamler hit the deck. Perry offering
A little easier on a football field here. I think, you know, of all the fouls we've seen, that was a...
Oh, great save, Renee Anders.
That's a good strike, good save. Able to keep the ball close to her as well. Just put some extra stickum on her gloves there at halftime.
By any means necessary.
Bubble gum or something, I don't know.
Is there a substance that you typically players will put on their gloves?
No, I don't think so.
At least not one that you're willing to share?
Yeah.
Maybe bubble gum would work. I've never really
Maybe.
contemplated that before, Greg.
You know, we always kind of say, especially if you're in some wet conditions, you want to always have kind of a towel back there. You'll see with some experienced goalkeepers want to keep the gloves dry so the ball doesn't kind of slip out.
Alexander lost her footing as Swank came over, applied the defense, won that battle. Great wide shot here of the Clear Fork Valley at the Colt Corral. And just a picture-perfect evening for high school soccer. It truly can't get better weather-wise than what these girls are playing with here today. Nice cool temperatures, just a little breeze.
I think what you see kind of in the distance there, the leaves starting to change this fall. As much as I hate to admit it, everybody kind of talking about the Colt Corral view, and I think I might have to agree that it's got quite the scenery.
Yeah, quite the view, and Trinity Cook thought that she might have a view of goal number 3 here tonight.
A lot of action so far. Take a peek over, we're only 7 minutes in, second half. Both sides.
And just a stark contrast for Lexington so far. As I already alluded to, they took, it felt like they needed about 25 minutes of warm up in that first half before they started making a few connecting passes and then keeping Clear Fork out of the attacking third. Well, right now, they've kind of been dictating the action for most of the second half, but Blue Ba trying to change that as she comes up with the theft. Got it to Windsor, who's earned a corner kick. And this is the same side where Cook, the left footer, struck one in at the end of the first half and was able to make it. A first that I've seen, at least commentating games on the OH Report.
Yeah, she's got that in-swinging ball with being left-footed heading in from this side. Makes it challenging for a goalkeeper to, all right, do I come out and get it? Do I hold my line?
Injured player down on the field for Lexington.
So it Looked like Moglin here kind of after the fact. Windsor kind of dropped a little elbow on her. WWE style, maybe.
Well, I saw there was a couple Lexington kids that just graduated that are now in the WWE or performing in some wrestling, so it kind of runs in the bloodlines out there.
Yeah, as a Otterbein Cardinal graduate, one of them down there having a little success during his college wrestling days as well, so even though he is a Minuteman, I guess I can, he's got Cardinal in his blood too, so I can be all right with that.
Give him a little love.
Yeah.
Kind of like when the Browns draft a Michigan player. Man, is it hard to get on board, but eventually they just win you over, you know?
Yep.
Oh, and you're talking about fall and the leaves changing. Boy, am I excited for football season in the NFL. I actually get started tonight, G.
Really?
First game is tonight.
Who do we got?
Oh, I'm going to have to rethink about that. Who do we got? Oh, none of us really seem to know, but I know the NFL kicks off tonight, and I know
usually you probably maybe got the Buccaneers on tonight.
Yeah, I think that is right.
All right.
They are playing. That's correct.
Buccaneers, maybe the Cowboys. Hey,
how about that?
See, that was a test. That was a test. You said, "Hey, I'm a big NFL fan." That was a test. You failed.
Letting you down. I apologize. I'm more, I wouldn't say so much that I'm a big NFL fan, more than I'm a big Cleveland Browns fan. And that just has ran in my DNA since birth. Brought home from the hospital in a Cleveland Browns onesie, and they kind of owned my heart ever since, Greg.
There you go.
So we feel like this is our year. We haven't felt that way in a long time, and I got a Steelers fan give me a crooked eye look. So let's just get back to soccer, shall we? Davison with a nice clean touch. Now she's going to make a run to the corner. Actually, she's going to let Belcher take it down there. Looking for the cross. And nobody home on the other end of that one, except for Boyce, who just elected to knock it out.
Number 7, Leah Argenio.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the key. If Clear Forks potentially maybe slow down on the subbing a little bit. I mean, if they continue to pick it up, will that wear down Lexington potentially here? And, right now they're playing well, but all right, once you start seeing some subs, can you continue that production you've had thus far?
Alexander, a 1-on-4. She's going to try to turn, but can't hit that corner. Just too many black jerseys back there, and that's what she's run into pretty much every single time here tonight when she's tried to make a move defensively. That back line for Clear Fork has stood tall, not allowed her to get too many inches on them.
I think, you're even seeing right now Lexington's toss. They got 3 up top between Parker, Blasberg, and Alexander trying to create a little offense. Figure at this point we're down 3-0 if we give up a couple more. But if we're able to score 1 or 2, then it can change the complexity of the game a little bit.
Clear Fork looked like they had numbers and something building going forward, but good pressure applied, I believe, by Lauren Alexander. Forced Wortman to give it up a little bit earlier than she wanted to. Kind of shut that thing down. As the Colts dive into their bench, no surprise. Just 4 subs, though, this time.
Number 14, Isabel Dennis. Number 20, Jayla Lamb.
As we're getting down to 11 minutes off the clock here, and I think the longer the game goes along, at least the theory is the Clear Fork should continue to be strong and that the opponent kind of takes a little bit of a dip, as I believe Lexington's only had about 3-4 substitutions here tonight, so they're bringing in girls one at a time versus Clear Fork's wholesale changes. We'll see if that has a big impact here as the match continues to wear along.
Yeah, that's right. I think Lexington right now, they're potentially, it's one individual, kind of goes out, comes in for another. Maybe a second gets into the rotation, but that's about it.
That was Ellie Hager with the lob there into the 18. Nobody offensively able to get there and make something happen for Clear Fork. Now Alexander's going to send one deep and hope that Blasberg can get there, but Anders out to the corner. of the 18, and she's got it.
Any other games in the area going on this evening? I know we talked to Lex, Clear Fork boys. I think what do you got? Madison, Worcester we talked.
Oh, my phone is totally dead, Greg. Unfortunately, I was going to pull up our calendar of events for tonight. I know that we are covering 2 soccer matches tonight. We also have live and free high school volleyball coming up as well. Crestview taking on Monroeville. That's going to be at the completion of tonight's soccer match. So lots of coverage on the way for you guys on the OH Report. We certainly are going to be a part of that Clear Fork versus Lexington boys soccer match. No doubt about that one.
There we go. We got, Travis and Mackenzie over there this evening?
They are. They're doing the volleyball match for us. Big rip that time, and setting up the right foot for Alexander for the first time.
Just much cleaner look. It has a little more pace on it, a little more challenging for Anders there. Sometimes as a coach, you want to see an opportunity, but at other times you want, all right, let's just not play a ball to the keeper just to say we got a shot in. Let's make it a quality opportunity.
That one tried to sneak through the legs of Davison, but her friend got her back, Caudill with the clear, at least momentarily.
I know me and Travis talked last week. You know, that's a challenge now here for Clear Fork. They sub out kind of that, if you want to say, the starting line. Bring in the second group here to where, all right, are they able to create some opportunities? It becomes a little more defensive-minded, I feel.
Yeah, that's a good point. Certainly, you notice a big difference when 22 comes off the field. If they don't have that top-end speed, no Ferrari out there.
Yeah. Labaki playing to the through ball. I mean, I think for just as many goals that Windsor has, I think Labaki's right there from an assist perspective. Just distributing the ball, sitting in the center. When you have someone like that up top, it makes your life a little easier.
Labaki does have 3 assists on the year to go along with her 4 goals, including one here tonight in the first half. All 3 goals for Clear Fork, if you're just joining us, came in half number 1. 2 of those in the final 10 minutes. And 2 of those from Trinity Cook.
Bodies are falling left and right.
Hitting the floor all over the place. And nobody able to lock down possession there. Our other soccer match tonight, Greg, Crestview Lady Cougars are at home, and they lead 2-0 over Mapleton.
Okay. Crestview's another team that's had a lot of success in the recent years, even though they are, a Division III program. They've had a lot of success.
For Clear Fork, number 3, MWD Blue Ball. Number 4, Annika Labaki. Number 12,
They've cycled through a couple of different coaches, so culture has had to change, but the drop-off in terms of wins has not. They've been an exciting team to cover over the last few seasons on the OH Report. Definitely taken in my fair share of Lady Cougar soccer, and they brought back the boys team too.
I saw that after, 12 years, was that correct?
Yeah, they had been off for definitely over a decade, so it is cool to see that soccer, it's got some legs, it's got some life here in North Central Ohio, continues to grow, and more teams, I think, more schools, I should say, need to get teams. Too many small schools that just don't even offer it.
I think it's tough when you go and even you look at a program like that and the success they have on the football field, and so many boys potentially play football rather than choosing soccer. So,
yeah,
school with that minimal numbers, it's tough to find a balance along with your cross country and other sports you kind of compete with.
Understood. Getting spread a little bit thin, you're right. definitely during fall season when there's, I believe, 7 activities all going on at once. So you got to kind of choose one. Some of the real standout athletes can play 2 sports at a time. But, man, that's so tough to juggle that. Oh, great setup for Windsor. Just wasn't able to load up that right foot in time.
I think when you talk 2 sports, that's something that a vast majority of our schools in the area allow. You know, I know Ontario being one of them that they do not allow you to play 2 sports. So if you had a soccer player that wants to go kick for the football team, that is something that we've never been able to allow.
I don't think I like that rule, Greg.
Somebody that went and played soccer and ran cross country along with track in college, that was always something that I would have wished that I was able to do when I was in high school. But
most definitely. Well, I think
opportunity there.
The one that you mentioned, that's the easiest transition, would be going from being a soccer player, because on Friday nights, I mean, we leave that to football at most schools. There's only a handful of like Christian schools that will play soccer on a Friday night. So, you know, I think it's always awesome. And some of the best kickers that I've seen translate from the soccer field, like we saw the last few years here at Clear Fork with Mr. Labaki coming out and kicking their PATs and their field goals. So, might have to have a conversation with old Mr. Fisher over there at Ontario and kind of help me understand why it is that you can only play one sport.
I get it's finding a high school student and potentially multiple practices, weekend travels. It's a tough challenge for some, and want to make sure that it doesn't impede on your academics and all of that. I think is usually the
that's the argument.
The argument that I can hear it from both sides and get it and understand. You gotta find that special individual that's able to make it all work.
Approaching the midway point here of the second half. Been much more competitive. I've got both sides down for 3 shots. Lexington with the lone real shot on frame. Couple of fouls, couple of quarter kicks for Clear Fork. And now here they are on the move. Windsor trying to hook up with Wortman on the outside, kind of forced out wide now.
Yeah, I think through the first 20, I mean, we haven't seen Windsor with that many touches. I don't think Clear Fork's been able to find her feet as frequently as we were seeing in the first half. There hasn't been a lot of space for any through ball as well. So I think that's going to be kind of a key if they want to sneak another one in here.
So I think you certainly got to credit that defensive line and unit for Lexington of understanding what they saw in the first half and giving away those 1v1 opportunities with the keeper. They've really limited that. I thought this was going to be offsides. Instead, it's going to be a shot, and Anders with the save. 2 looks on net there for Lydia Giefer.
I would be curious to look at the replay here.
Boy, doesn't she look about 2 yards offsides?
Yeah, that would be one to where check the timing of when the ball was played and where she was at. I wouldn't say Giefer's necessarily known for some speed to gain that 2 yards that quickly, but we could be wrong.
This one shot into the side of the net from Blasberg.
Lexington's kind of got them on their heels here.
They do.
3 quick shots.
See if Lexington can keep up this offensive momentum they got going and keep driving towards net. Instead, it's going to be a hard run by Windsor down in the corner with Boyce, who elects to knock it out.
Say we kind of talked the sophomore senior combos of Clear Fork, but Lady Lex there in the back, they've got 2 seniors, two sophomores in Boyce and Maddie Hughes. So I think there's a lot of talent really on both sides when you look at the those two classes that each school has respectively.
And with the younger kids getting so much PT, the good times should just keep rolling for both of these programs. Though it's been better times for Clear Fork here as of late. Beat Lexington twice last year, 2-0 in the regular season, and then 1-0 for the sectional championship.
Another good shot there. Maybe.
7
Sanders, I don't
shots.
think necessarily knew where she was at. She could have probably let that one roll out of bounds. Instead, we have another corner.
It's going to be the first corner of the second half for Lady Lex. And going with the same strategy that we saw on their set pieces in the first half. Alexander, front and center in the middle. Then they've got 4 bodies charging in. Up for grabs, ricocheted. Colts can't clear it. And this one's going to be sent
Back
in.
out.
Alexander! Over the top with the header attempt.
Alexander did a good job to get up on that one there.
She basically had to climb over the back of the defender. I think it was Swank who was standing, impeding her progress. So credit to the defense of Clear Fork to, get out of there unscathed. And for Lexington, time becoming about the biggest factor now, as if you really want to get into this game, you gotta take advantage of one of these opportunities here in the near future.
I think what Lexington's done a much better job of here in the second half is they've been able to possess the ball. They've forced Clear Fork to kind of have to work and conserve some energy on their end that's allowed them to create some chances here. Where in the first half, I think Clear Fork dominated the possession, wearing down Lexington, continuing to sub. So the script's kind of turned a little bit in terms of a little extra in the tank for Lexington here.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy one. Cook into the hands of Underwood. Fourth shot for the Lady Colts here in half number 2. 14 total. But they have not had a clean look so far here in the second half. That was their first on frame.
I think I know we pointed out the sun coming into play potentially here now with Anders in goal for Clear Fork. I don't know if Lexington can potentially test her out a little bit. That could be a challenge as well. Usually as a coach you try to, all right, factor in some wind, factor in the sun potentially.
Center for Clear Fork, number 7, Leah Argenio. Number 13, Ellie Auger. Number 11, Madison.
Yeah, it's
Number 1,
kind of weird to be getting towards the end of a varsity game and still a whole lot of daylight available out there, Greg.
Yeah.
Pretty uncommon, at least out here in the Valley, where the varsity almost always playing late night. Other schools with no lights will play their 5 or 6 o'clock soccer matches.
Yeah, you'll get your likes of your St. Pete's, your Crestviews, Mansfield Christians, even of the world that don't necessarily have the lights, so they go varsity first, the JV's kind of after, and sometimes once daylight savings comes into play, you sometimes see a shortened game due to darkness.
One thing that I definitely have a love-hate relationship with soccer for as a media guy is the opportunity for the tie, which, I always hate doing the highlight or doing the commentary when it ends up in a draw, Greg, but at the same time, we know that we're getting out of there after 90 minutes. So,
exactly.
Pros and cons to everything.
I think you look at some of our results, tie against Jerome, tie against Ashland. I think we would probably say, all right, the shoulda, coulda, woulda, give us 5-10 more minutes and see what happens. But
you think coaches would be in favor of that, and the OSSCA just say, how about just 10 minutes? Give us 10 minutes on the clock, and then whatever the result is at the end, it's good.
I think you would. I mean, you see it in a college perspective. That was always, then you got that extra 10, usually maybe 2 10s. So you got an extra 20 minutes of time there. Then if it was necessarily still tied at that point, then you kind of went to that point. But I like the opportunity to do that. I'm not necessarily a fan of PKs. While they're exciting and can be an adrenaline rush, I think coming down to that, a game to be decided on that is a little tough to swallow potentially, depending on which end of that you are on. But again, that's my 2 cents worth. It's not that it matters.
Well, that's a fair point. I feel like a lot of us casual soccer fans are all in for the PKs for the reasons that you mentioned, and then a lot of people that are more tied and more invested to soccer kind of hate them, Greg, because how often are you really put in that position through the course of a game? Maybe once every couple of matches you get that one time, so it's not real soccer to its fullest extent. I understand the conversation of wanting to eliminate those, but at the same time, as a guy who just enjoys a good quality penalty kick shootout, I'm kind of all in favor for him. After the 2 scheduled overtimes,
yes,
of course.
Of course. There you go.
Let's finish it playing some real soccer, and if we can't get there after 2 of those, how about some PKs?
PK's the toughest part there. Is it's depending on how quality of teams you have, it just becomes a guessing game. You got a 50-50 chance unless you get some of your top goalkeepers that are able to a little more mobile. As you said, time becoming a factor. 11 minutes left in the game. Still 3-0.
Colts looking to add to it.
Sure.
Underwood.
Sure, if you're
breaking
Coach Morton, you'd want to see this effort and this kind of holding Clear Fork attack at bay here in the second half. If you could have had that in the first half, would have changed that. That would have been potentially the complexion of the game.
And it just felt like the whole pregame that Clear Fork was the team that had a little bit more energy, a little bit more positivity to them. Not that Lexington didn't come out here feeling like they were going to win, but it just kind of felt like Clear Fork was going to get off to a fast start tonight, and they were able to do that. And for Lexington, they eased into the match, and things were starting to go pretty well for them at the midway point, but those 2 big goals in the final 10 minutes for Clear Fork really changed the complexion of this game, and in particular the one from Trinity Cook with 2 minutes and 4 seconds off of that corner kick. I mean, that was a game changer.
That's why the game of soccer can you can have a love-hate relationship with it on any given day. That's the beauty.
That's why they call it the beautiful game, Greg. Things are never as good as they really seem, and then you're never really down as far as they seem too. So just part of life. Part of life. So we're now under 10 minutes to go. Big substitutions coming here for Clear Fork once again.
There's 7 rotation here.
And this is their offensive firepower group out here for the Colts. So we'll see if Coach Bechtel lets them play the final 9.5. As we look back at that big goal I was talking about from Trinity Cook, and how about that, man? Sharp shooter from downtown, bending that thing like Beckham into the net. Thing of beauty.
We've got some time left in the game, but who would you say player of the game then as we inch closer? Would you say with Cook with that quality of a goal? Gets the nod?
You know what? I think that Trinity is going to be my vote for MVP here tonight. 2 goals for her, and then the one that kind of, it felt like put things out of reach. A 2-0 deficit. Hey, you can battle back from that in the second half. No big deal. But if you got to score 3 times, that feels like sometimes it can be tough to get over that hump. And in particular for Lexington, the way that they were playing offensively in that first half. Though they've done some nice things here in half number 2. They've got 11 shots, only 4 for Clear Fork. And I've got 5 shots on target here in the second half for Lexington. So while they have not been able to take advantage of those, they're at least getting into the attacking third and getting opportunities to try to put one in the back. Something that we can't say for them in the first half. Windsor cuts it back, left foot. Oh, had Wortman working to the outside, who was called offsides anyways.
See, I'm not sure if Windsor was meeting to, if that was a shot that almost turned into a beautiful pass, or if she meant to do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that she was having her eye on the prize right there and wanted to put one into the back. She is the leading scorer on the team. 6 goals so far for Kendall on the campaign. 3 players now tied with 4. Wortman, Labaki, and Cook. So a lot of offensive firepower on this Lady Colts team. Only giving up about 1.3 goals per game too. So they've been dominant so far in the early portion of the season. Outside of those 2 losses, they had a 2-1 result to Madison, and then a 2-1 loss that we had live and free here on the OH Report against Dublin Scioto, a really quality D1 Columbus school.
A lot of home cooking then so far for Clear Fork on the young season thus far.
This is their 5th home match already on the season. Only left the friendly confines of the Colt Corral once.
Wow.
And here's going to be a shot, back post, diving save by Anders, still up for grabs, and she does it again. Renee Anders to the rescue, the sophomore.
Good follow-up by Parker here after the shot. Thought she was going to be able to sneak that one in.
You see Thomas with a nice attempt on the first one, and then you thought Allie Parker would put it away, but just too low with that one. Big brother probably would have told you, you got to chip that one up over the keep.
Kind of surprised here with keeper, with Anders making that save there, how that wasn't necessarily a corner. Maybe a makeup call here.
Fair question. And Parker off the charge there. Looked like he's going to earn.
Opportunity. For viewers coming in here in the second half, you might be a little confused as to thinking there's a typo in the scoring sheet here.
Cook's going to come away with his ball. Just going to send it deep. Hope the sophomore Kendall can do something with it. Beautiful pressure. So the Colts now, they've got numbers charging forward. Got about a 5-on-6. But the double team comes over, kind of works out with Giefer. Baki turns, trying to make a move. Sends it out wide now. Bluebaugh looking for some cross options. And I think probably just one touch too many. She had 3 girls charging and sent that one in a little too low. And the Colts are going to sub one more time here with 4:13 to go. Little 4-player swap out.
Yeah, I think now any substitution, and we might actually already be at that point to where if you are leading in a game, substitution here under the 5-minute mark, the clock is stopped. Again, another one of those rules depending on which side of it you're on. If you're that losing team, you like it. Allows you to stop the clock, where that was usually a little bit of strategy that came into play if you were that team winning. Some kind of continuous substitutions, let the clock run.
I think I'm a little bit more in favor of the clock stopping.
Yep. Just gives us more soccer.
And who doesn't want that?
It's kind of like a no shot clock in basketball. I think you could have your argument of should that be implemented in high school or not.
You know, I'm certainly always in favor of more offense, so shot clock and hoops be kind of a fun thing. As we're in the closing minutes.
A good ball here. Parker just unable to get around it there. Another good look, though.
Yeah, Allie Parker, the sophomore midfielder, she's had a strong second half here. It feels like she's been involved offensively a lot more than she was in the first.
I think more in the first. She was playing in the center a little bit more. Now they've pushed her outside, allowed her to use her athletic ability a little bit more. Overlap with Blasberg and Alexander taking a majority of the attention.
There's another shot, this one there from distance from Hamler. But as she's been all night long, Anders in between the pipes, keeping a clean sheet.
Is that 14th, 15th shot technically for Lexington here in just the second half alone?
That's right. 8 of those have been on frame, and Anders been able to handle each and every one of them. Looks like Clear Fork's got a corner kick on the way. Davison will trigger this one. So the righty comes in from this side. Then they have the lefty Cook bending it from the other. See if they get some fireworks going here at the Colt Corral to end things off. Well defended.
Say Giefer, it's just so tough with the height there that she brings. A lot of space
pass
here.
Lexi Blasberg, one-on-one, rifles it. And she tried to make that shot from outside the 18. Maybe she felt the pressure of the 2 defenders behind her.
Yeah, she looks a little injured. I think she might have gotten a little bit of the ground in addition to the ball. Yeah, take another peek at it. No, it looks like she got a clean strike. So it looks like she just, as she's taken a step after, potentially rolled the ankle here.
Lexi Blasberg having a fantastic season so far for Lexington. That'd be a big loss for them. She's one of their leading scorers a season ago. 7 goals. She's got 2 already. A couple assists so far in 2021. So she's a difference maker.
You know, she had the lone goal for Lexington in our game to kick off Friday Night Football a couple weeks back. Beautifully placed ball into the upper left corner.
Yeah, it looks like the senior forward is trying to get up. But real ginger, not putting very much weight at all on that right leg.
You have athletic trainer Jamison Giefer. Got to kind of pick and choose which colors he wears this evening with daughter playing for Lexington here.
And that's what I think is so great about all these Richland County rivalries, how close all these communities are to one another, the overlap. You know, your kids are going to school one place, you might work at another, and you know, there's a lot of interconnections out here with all these teams, Greg. So it's always fun, spirited, great competition anytime any of these schools get together.
They all play on the club teams in the off season, usually seeing 5 from each school if possible on usually most teams. And I think each of us within the area can say, and truly mean it, Richland County produces some of the best soccer athletes throughout the entire state of Ohio.
No question, we do have a defending state champion girls soccer squad right here in Richland County. And have had others win state titles, get to Final Four, so a lot of great soccer played here. But it's not just one program. I think that's what's great. There's about 4 or 5 programs.
Year in, year out.
They start to raise the bar. And that's going to be the final second ticking off the clock here at the Lady Colt Corral, where no score in the second half, but for Clear Fork, you didn't need anything. You got all you needed in half number 1. They are a 3-0 winner, coming up with another victory on the season. Their third dub in a row and 4th overall. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will line up an interview with our MVP of the game, Trinity Cook, and then break things down for you guys with some final stats. Keep it here. The OH Report will return with live soccer coverage in just a moment.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it, Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
joining his mechanics. MVP of the game. We've got Trinity Cook with us, the senior standout. 2 big goals for her here tonight. I first want to talk to you about the rivalry. Lexington, Clear Fork, you guys are 2 neighboring communities, obviously 2 top programs too. Describe the satisfaction that you guys feel over here for the Lady Colts when you knock them off and a nice clean shutout at that.
It always feels good. You know, Lex is always a good team, and they always give us good competition. I feel like they're pretty equal to us, like level-wise, so it's good to go out there and get a win. I think that's the confidence we needed. You know, we had a tough loss against Madison, but we bounced back this week and got 2 big MOAC wins, and even though they're not in our conference, it doesn't take any of the pressure off. They're still in our district, so it's always a good win, especially 3 goals at that, so yeah.
A debate that we were having a little bit in the first half was Lexington's playing some top competition, but they're coming away with losses. You guys, the last 2 matches, 10-0 wins against some inferior opponents. Where do you fall on getting a little bit better? Do you feel like you can draw your game up to another level when you are playing teams and getting 10-0 wins, or would you rather play a really high-caliber team and maybe take a tough loss?
I'd so rather play a high-caliber team any day. Those 10-0 wins, you know, it gets a lot of girls minutes, but we don't really gain a lot from the game. From those 10-0 win games, obviously we have to play those. You know, we don't have a choice on that because they're a conference. But I think games like this, we gain so much more, not only like physically in our game, but mentally too. I think it gives us a lot more confidence, especially when we come out on top.
Well, it felt like the second goal that you had in that first half was kind of a game changer. Describe that to me. Have you ever scored off a corner kick like that?
Oh, gosh. No. Actually, I've been struggling finishing the last couple games. I didn't score a single goal in the last 2 games. So it felt really good to score 2 goals, especially off a corner like that. I've never done that before. And then I went on and shanked the next one. But,
Right.
you know, it happened. So I'm glad I could execute on one of them. So, yeah.
No, I mean, I was going to say you kind of talk confidence. You know, that was a big key word. You've talked on a lot of these. You know, you head into a big game heading into Monday. I'm sure Coach Bechtel kind of, hey, don't overlook a team like Lexington heading into that MOAC game on Monday. But, you know, what does this confidence, you know, in a game like this prepare you for that big showdown on Monday?
Yeah, it gives us all the confidence we need. I think this is a perfect setup for us. You know, a 3-0 win is a pretty decent win, but I don't think it's a big enough win to where we'll be like, oh, we got the next game. You know, we're going to obviously, we always take Ontario seriously. They're always good competition, and I'm really excited to play them. Obviously, a lot of nerves and probably the biggest game of our season, but I'm really excited to see what we can do, and Monday's going to be a fun one.
Just keeping that momentum rolling. Clear Fork, a 3-0 win here tonight. Their 3rd consecutive win. Trinity Cook, a big reason why. Any shout-outs that you want to give before you hop off the mic?
Shout out to my team for always bringing the best energy. Shout out to all my coaches and all of our Valley fans who are always here cheering us on. So, yeah.
There you have it from Trinity Cook, our Mechanics Bank MVP. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Sweating. Thank you, guys.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it, Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Exciting night of Richland County girls soccer right here at the Clear Fork Corral ends with the Colts a 3-0 victor over Lexington. Brian Skronsky, Greg Atkinson with you with some final stats for your folks. So we'll bring those up right now and take a look at Lexington with a huge second half statistically, at least, Greg. They didn't put away any of their opportunities, but man, they look so much better, way more confident in the second half. They actually had the run and play possessed for a little bit more than the Colts.
Yeah, I think when you talk tale of two halves, this is a true definition of that. Lexington completely outplays Clear Fork second half. I'm sure they'd probably want those first 40 minutes back, but I give a lot of kudos to Lexington. They didn't lay down 3-0 deficit. It could have been much worse than what it was, and I think they came out and did exactly what they wanted to. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get one or two or in the back of the net.
And I'm a little bit surprised. Clear Fork, we talked a lot the last couple of weeks about the rotation and getting 6 and 7 girls out, and we feel like in the second half, hey, that should pay dividends, right? Once you get towards the end of the game, they're going to be the fresher, more complete bunch, but it was actually Lexington who was doing about 1-2 subs per half that was the team that had the more energy at the end of the game. So for Clear Fork, I feel like they didn't necessarily take their foot off the throttle in that second half. I don't really know what changed other than perhaps some adjustments from Buck Morton and company. They certainly looked great in the second half after Clear Fork clearly dominated the first.
Yeah, and I think that's tough as well. You know, Brittany, and it's tough to try and motivate your team. You're up 3-0 without kind of getting a little relaxed, a little complacent, and you could potentially say that was the case with Clear Fork in that second half, and allowed Lexington to get back in the ball game. But still, great night. Richland County soccer, two rivalries. Put on a show for the crowd on both sides.
And since we're allowed to now, the game is in the books. We already know the result. We can look forward to that big competition on Monday that's going to be over at your guys' place. Clear Fork coming over to take on a undefeated state-ranked Ontario team. Give me some feedback about what you saw from Clear Fork here tonight that might make it tough for them to come win on the road, or tough for your girls to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. Clear Fork, Ontario, now we're in the same conference, but for years it was kind of down to us in that district championship game. So there's a lot of respect there between the two programs. It's going to be a great night, MOAC title on the line. I don't think there's any hiding that. But I think the key is, and we saw it tonight, you got to kind of calm the nerves. You got to calm the atmosphere, the rah-rah, the environment that's created. And whoever's able to come out and kind of put a goal in first and allow the others to settle down is going to be the key. And you saw that tonight with Clear Fork. They were able to get a goal early on, kind of settle in, and then were able to get a couple late. But I think it's going to be making the most of the opportunities for both teams. But it'll be an exciting game then on Monday with a lot of respect between the two programs.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the highlights from that one. And, of course, here on the OS Report, we're going to have highlights of every single Ontario girls soccer match throughout the entire season. They have been a privilege to follow so far, as have these Lady Colts, so that is going to be one heck of a showdown. Don't forget, guys, even though we're wrapping up our coverage here, we still have volleyball going down tonight over at the Cougars Den, where Crestview right now trailing a red-hot Monroeville team who who's looking for, I believe, their 5th straight victory. Can the Cougars turn it around? You can find out right now by switching over to them. They're on YouTube Channel 4 or on our Facebook page. But for here at the Colt Corral, that is going to do it for our coverage. Want to thank everybody, though, for making tonight's events possible, including Hayden Gray, our camera guy, and he's holding the monitor for us right now, so doing just a little bit of everything. Adam Thompson as well, our very skilled, awesome director, bringing you all the graphics, switching the audio, all that great stuff. My name is Brian Skronsky for Greg Atkinson. Thanking you one last time for tuning in, and remember, tons more coming up on the OH Report all weekend long. Lots of football tomorrow, and then Saturday we are loaded with content, so just stay locked in all the time, and you'll never be bored. See you next time.